There are some stories people feel ashamed to tell, but if you keep them inside, they suffocate you. This is one of those stories. Sometimes silence can weigh more than 1,000 words. It did for me. When Adriana left, all that remained was silence. After that night, I thought about it countless times. Why did I stay silent? Why didn't I run after her? Why couldn't I just say stay? I still don't know the answer. Maybe I was afraid. Maybe I loved the right person at the wrong time. But that night, yes, that night, when she came back after all those years, my heart remembered everything. That evening started like any other. City lights flickered in the distance and the wind gently swayed the curtain. There was a cup of coffee on the table and a half-finished project glowing on my laptop screen. But my thoughts were somewhere far away. In Adriana's laughter, in the warmth hidden within that smile. I remember the first time I met her. It was the first week of university. She dropped her books, and I went to help her pick them up. When our eyes met, time seemed to stop for a moment. There was both peace and chaos in her eyes. And from that day on, I lived in that storm. But life sometimes gives you the most beautiful things at the wrong time. I was trying to build a future, while she was trying to escape her past. We loved each other deeply, but we were never ready at the same time. And one day, she just left, without a word, only a small note on my desk. Chris, some people stay, others leave a mark. I won't forget you, but I can't stay. I read that note over and over again. Each line was filled with love and the coldness of goodbye. Months passed, maybe years. I worked, I lived, I smiled, but something was missing. Adriana remained inside me like a story left unfinished. That night, I didn't know everything was about to change. Midnight was approaching. Rain tapped softly against the window. Then, suddenly, a sound from the door. Knock, knock. At first, I thought it was the wind, but then it came again. Knock, knock. My heart started racing. I walked toward the door. My hand froze on the handle. A strange feeling in my chest. I opened it, and there she was. Adriana, wearing a yellow coat, her hair soaked from the rain, her eyes shining even in the darkness. For a moment, I couldn't speak. The face I had dreamed of for years was suddenly real. Right in front of me, she looked almost angelic. Chris, she said softly. That voice, I could never forget it. Adriana, was all I managed to say. We just stood there, staring at each other. Neither of us moved. It felt as if time had stopped again. Finally, I broke the silence. After all these years, why are you here? She hesitated for a moment. Then, without looking away, she said, because some goodbyes never end. I tried to leave, but I never really did. I invited her inside. An old jazz tune was playing quietly in the background. Adriana sat on the couch. I sat across from her. For a while, we said nothing. Then she spoke. Chris, I was scared back then. Of everything. Even myself. You were too real. Too good. I thought if I stayed, I would lose myself in you. I didn't want to go, but staying would have hurt you. Her voice trembled. As I listened, everything I had buried inside me for years came rushing back. Anger, longing, heartbreak, love, all at once. And now? I asked. It's been years, Adriana. Everything's changed. She looked at me then, her eyes full of regret and a spark of hope. Maybe the only thing that hasn't changed, she whispered, is you. Those words hit me hard, because she was right. I was still the same man who couldn't forget that night, that note, that goodbye. What do you want from me? I asked, my voice colder than I intended. I just wanted to see your face, she said, to see if you're really okay. Such simple words, but filled with 1,000 meanings. I'm fine, I lied, because my heart was still beating the same way it used to, faster whenever she was near. We stayed silent for a long time. Then she moved a little closer. Chris, she said, I keep seeing the same dream every night. It's the last moment before I left. You're looking at me, I'm walking away. But in the dream, I turn back and tell you to wait. And you smile. In that dream, everything feels right. Tears filled my eyes. If only life were as simple as a dream, I said. Time kept passing. It was already past 2. Adriana looked out the window. The rain has stopped, she said with a faint smile. That smile, it felt like sunlight after years of darkness. Do you want to stay? I asked before I could stop myself. Even I was surprised by my own words. She looked at me for a long moment, then shook her head slowly. No, Chris. The last time I stayed, I lost you. That sentence stabbed through my heart. Something inside me broke. I stepped closer, gently touched her shoulder. You're cold, I said. I've always been cold, she whispered. You were the warmth. We looked at each other, so close yet so far apart. A single tear slid down her cheek. Thank you, she said softly, for still listening to me in silence. Then she stood up. She put on her coat, fixed her hair, and walked toward the door. Adriana, I said. She stopped and turned around. If you ever get lost again, I told her, remember this address. Because I'll still be here. The same, she smiled. That's why I could never truly leave, she said. And then she was gone. When the door closed, only the sound of the wind remained. I walked to the window and looked outside. Under the streetlight, I saw her silhouette. She was walking away, slowly, quietly. For a moment, my heart screamed, run after her. But I didn't move, because I knew sometimes love isn't about following someone, it's about letting them go. As Adriana disappeared into the night, a strange peace filled me. Maybe this time it really was over. Maybe we had just written the final line of our story together. I closed the window, turned off the light, and lay down on my bed. And in that moment, I realized something. For the first time, my heart was quiet. Her words echoed in my mind. Some people stay, others leave a mark. And now I knew she hadn't just left a mark. She had become a part of the story that made me who I am. When morning came, sunlight slipped through the curtain. A new day had begun, and for the first time in years, I looked in the mirror and felt peace inside. Adriana was gone, yes, but this time she had left not an emptiness, but meaning. Sometimes people come back only to finish the goodbye they never could. And that night, our goodbye was finally complete. Now, every time it rains, I think of her. But it doesn't hurt anymore, because I've learned some loves aren't meant to be lived. They're meant to live on. And some nights carry the quiet answers of a lifetime. For me, that night was one of them. Adriana came back, and I finally learned how to leave. All right, my friends, that's the end of my story. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment.